Okay, welcome in. I'm now going to be reviewing Sunday's action from the Major League Baseball season. There were 16 games, therefore 32 teams were duking it out for a victory over their opponent. Starting with the Washington Nationals, they played host to the Houston Astros. They would actually shut out Houston. 6-0 would be the final score. With that, they're now pulling within one game of being back to 500 with a 10-11 record. While after the loss, the Astros are now 9 games below 500. Mitchell Parker picked up his second win of the season. He's now 2-0. Hunter Brown has now dropped to 0-4. The Boston Red Sox were taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Red Sox would win this one. 6-1 would be the final score. They're now sitting at 13-10. After the loss, the Pirates have now dropped to 500 with an 11-11 margin. Justin Slayton picked up his first win. Martin Perez suffered the loss. He's now 1-1 on the season. Staying in Pennsylvania, we had the Philadelphia Phillies. They're playing host to the Chicago White Sox. They would triple up the score over the White Sox. 8-2 would be the final score. With that, is it triple or quadruple? Either way, 8-2 would be the final score. With the win, Phillies now improved to 14-8. And after the loss, the White Sox are now 15 games below 500 with a record of 3-18. Aaron Nola picked up the win. He's 3-1. Nick Nastrini is 0-2. The Tampa Bay Rays were taking on the New York Yankees. The Yankees would win this one, a close contest. 5-4 would be the final score. They are now sitting still first in the AL East with a record of 15-7. After the loss, the Rays are 12-11. Luis Gil is 1-1 on the season after the win. After the loss, Aaron Saval is 2-2, and Victor Gonzalez picked up his second save. The Oakland A's went into Cleveland to take on the Guardians. The Guardians would win this contest. 6-2 would be the final score, improving their record to 16-6. After the loss, the A's are now 6 games below 500 with a record of 8-14. Tanner Beebe picked up his second win. He's 2-0. Ross Stripling is still looking for his first win of 2024. He's 0-5. The Cincinnati Reds played host to the Los Angeles Angels. They would actually shut out LA. 3-0 would be the final score, improving to 12-9 on the season. After the loss, the A's are now 4 games below 500 with a record of 9-13. Emilio Pagan is 2-1 after the win. Jose Soriano is 0-3 after the loss, and Alexis Diaz picked up his fourth save. The Detroit Tigers were taking on the Minnesota Twins. Detroit would win this contest. 6-1 would be the final score. They're now sitting at 12-10 after the loss. The Twins are 6 games below 500 with a record of 7-13. Casey Mize is 1-0 as a starter. Louis Varland is 0-4. The Baltimore Orioles went into Kansas City to take on the Royals. 5-0 would be the final score in favor of Baltimore. They have now improved to 14-7 after the loss. The Chiefs are 13-9. The Royals, not the Chiefs. Oh my gosh. Cole Irvin is 1-1 on the season. Seth Lugo is 3-1 after the loss. Alrighty, the Milwaukee Brewers went into St. Louis to take on the Cardinals. They would shut out St. Louis. 2-0 would be the final score. They have now improved to 14-6 after the loss. The Cardinals have dropped to 4 games below 500 with a record of 9-13. Brian Hudson picked up the first win of the season. Sonny Gray suffered his first loss. He's 2-1. And Joel Payamps got his third save for Milwaukee. A bit of an upset here as the Chicago Cubs were playing host to the Miami Marlins. The Marlins would double up on Chicago. 6-3 would be the final score. They're now 6-17 on the season. After the loss, the Cubs are 13-9. Edward Cabrera picked up his first win of the season. Kyle Hendricks is still looking for his first win of 2024. He has now dropped to 0-3. Tanner Scott picked up his fourth save for Miami. The Colorado Rockies were playing host to the Seattle Mariners. Be a very low scoring affair. 2-1 would be the final score. With that, Colorado is now sitting at 5-16, while the Mariners are now have dropped to 1 game below 500 with a 10-11 record. Justin Lawrence picked up his first win of the season. He is now 1-1. Andres Munoz is 1-2 after the loss. The San Francisco Giants played host to the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks would get a win in this contest. 5-3 would be the final score. They're now sitting at 11-12, and after the loss, the Giants are 3 games below 500 with a 10-13 record. Slade Cecconi is 1-0 on the season after the win. Eric Miller suffered the loss. He's 0-1. And Kevin Ginkel picked up his 4th save for the Diamondbacks. Toronto Blue Jays took on the San Diego Padres. The Padres would get their first win of the series. 6-3 would be the final score. They're now sitting at 12-12. After the loss, the Jays are 12-10. Joe Musgrove picked up his 3rd win of the season. He is 3-2. Chris Bassett is 2-3 after the loss. And Robert Suarez picked up his 7th save. The Los Angeles Dodgers were taking on the New York Mets. And they would actually shut out New York. 10-0 would be the final score. They're now sitting 13-11. After the loss, the Mets are 12-9. Tyler Glasnow is 4-1 as a starter. Adrian Hauser is 0-2. Alrighty, the Texas Rangers went into Atlanta to take on the Braves. They would win 6-4 would be the final score. They're now sitting at 12-11. Despite the loss, the Braves are still 8 games above 500 with a 14-6 record. Michael Lorenzen is 2-0 as a starter. Darius Vines is 0-1, and Kirby Yates picked up his 3rd save for the Texas Rangers. So the Mariners and the Rockies did a doubleheader yesterday. The Rockies won the first game, and the Mariners made a bit of a statement. 10-2 would be the final score, getting a little bit of revenge on the team they played just before. With the win, they're now back at 500 with a 11-11 record. After the loss, the Rockies are 12 games below 500 with a 5-17 record. Emerson Hancock is 2-2 on the season. While Peter Lambert suffered his first loss of 2024, he is 2-1. Alrighty, that takes care of Sunday's action of the Major League Baseball season. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, please feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, take care.